Hello, you're very welcome to a Gauntlet Hangouts game, dear viewer. For those who don't know, the Gauntlet is a fantastic internet community who get together and play cool games and celebrate, role-playing games in all their terrible grandeur. Find them at gauntlet-rpg.com. Links down below. They have a blog that does a lot of posts regularly. They put out a zine called Codex, and of course, they have Hangouts where they schedule a lot of these games. And this game was scheduled here in Hangouts. In this game we're playing, we are concluding our four-part series of Spire. Series called A Disease of Language. Spire is written by Grant Howitt and Christopher Taylor, published by Rowan Rook and Deckard. Links down below as always. We have a shortened cast starting off for now. One of our players sadly had to drop out. Another one's a bit late, but we decided to just get started and get things rolling. We'll wait for them. But for now, let's meet who we have here at the moment. The same as always, names, pronouns, and something you want to shout out. Yes, let's spread the love of whatever things are giving you life, to use a gauntlet term, so to speak. Let's start with yourself there, David.
Yeah, certainly. Hi, I'm David. I'm based in the UK. I had something in mind for what's giving me life, but I've completely blanked on it. Oh, that was it. One of our a fellow Gauntlet member has just launched a Kickstarter for a game called Dino Wranglers, which looks really fun. It's sort of it's a game in which you go around wrangling dinosaurs, I believe. It uses a kind of quite a simple diceless mechanic that's specifically designed to be playable with children, as well as being a fun game for adults. That sounds really interesting. I've just backed that, so it's part of the whole Kickstarter zine quest, where there's a load of other cool stuff as well. But that looks really nice.
Fab. All the plugs we have, links down below. That was actually the one I was going to give a shout out to, so now I have to think of something else. Shout outs to Rochelle, who's great. Check out Dino Wranglers. It's family friendly. That's really cool. It's family friendly and very inclusive. Check it out. Links below. Who doesn't want to wrangle dinosaurs? If you don't, you should get in with the program. Up next, Diana, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I go by Diana Moon online. I use she, her pronouns. And currently what's giving me life is we just started on the INDG channel a Sorcerer game on Sunday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on twitch.tv/INDG. And what I really love about it is my first time playing a Sorcerer game, but it's also set in my city, San Francisco, and it's about the evils of gentrification. So we're having a lot of fun creating these evil tech bro NPCs that are unfortunately people we know in real life. But we get to have demons and cause mayhem.
That sounds really, really cool. And definitely check that out. Again, links down below. I guess I'll introduce myself. I'm Leandro. Hello. I'm your host and GM for tonight. I use he, him. Random shout out. I was at my local game store and I saw that very randomly they stocked up copies of Starcrossed by Alex Roberts, which honestly I didn't expect from them. I always thought they were a fairly trad group. But apparently they back Starcross in the retailer level, and they have a few copies of those. Check that out. That's a really cool game by Alex Roberts. It's a two-player duet game of forbidden love where two people really, 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 really want to but can't, and they simulate that tension through the medium of a Jenga tower. So it's kind of horrifically nerve-wracking when you think about it, but that's forbidden love for you. That's my random shout out for the day. Before we jump into the game, I want to talk about our safety tools, because here in the Gauntlet we try to make sure that people are playing in a comfortable and safe environment. We try to do cool, interesting things with these stories we tell, but we want to do them in a place of safety. So we have a few tools for that. Firstly, we have lines and veils. Basically, lines are things that won't be crossed, won't show up in fiction at all. Veils are things that will happen in fiction, but it'll be occluded. We're not going to concentrate on it. It happens off screen, basically. It can still happen in the world. I don't usually shout out the lines and veils. They just remind our players that they're on the character keeper. Tabs right there. And also we have the X card. If we ever stumble into a scene where it's just things are just it's a bit, it makes you uncomfortable. We stumble into something that you don't want to see in fiction. Just say X on the screen. Say you want to exit, or on the chat, or on our roll for your party, which I'll toss a link to the chat actually. There's a button there for the X card. Be sure to keep an eye on that. Eagerly engaging Grackle. That's an amazing. Good for you, Grackle. So, and whenever someone plays X card, we're gonna roll back. I might ask some clarifying questions. What's being X? But no one gets to question why the X card is being played. It's just gonna happen. And no one gets questioned. It's just gonna happen, and we're just gonna roll back and start over again. And finally, we have the open table policy, which means that for whatever reason, anytime during play, if you feel like you need to go, whether because of an emergency, or you're just fatigued, or there's other reasons you don't want to elaborate on, which is fine, totally fine. Or if you want to just call a break whenever, because I have my designated break times. But if something happens, it happens, and you have to walk away. That's perfectly fine, and we'll accommodate you if you need to do so. I've started waving this receipt in my hand. I don't know how that happened. Yeah. So those are our safety tools. Let's get back to Spire. Spire, this game of this ridiculous city ruled by Alfir and oppressing the Drow. So let's introduce the characters we have right now, and tell me something that they did or happened to them in the previous session, as this particular cell of the Ministry of our Hidden Mistress has seemingly tracked down the source of this virulent dream, so to speak, because in this setting, we have started selling dreams to people, and people have started making dreams. But a particular dream has become virulent, has become viral, so to speak. The dream called Revolution, and our party seems to have tracked it down to the court of Lady Theron Thorns on Silk, a normally sophisticated woman with a taste for the old-fashioned, but she and her court seems to have gone under a spell, so to speak, and. Yeah, and our party managed to get in and saw some stuff. Let's find out who the people we have here are, and introduce your characters and tell me what's up with them, what happened in the previous session. Let's start with our, I'll say right now, our Batman, our Bound. David, tell us about Elifet.
Yeah, so this evening I'm going to be playing Elifet Rue. He's a male drow who is a bound. This is a sort of acrobatic vigilante type, expert in the use of ropes and acrobatic stuff. Who speaks to the small gods bound into various pieces of his equipment. He moonlights under his vigilante persona of Death's Head. When he's doing his crime fighting shtick. Admittedly, I have yet to fight much actual crime, but details. So when last week with Elifet, following down a couple of ladies associated with the Lady Theron. He was led into an ambush. He was chased across the rooftops by some guardsmen. Didn't entirely successfully escape from them, but thankfully managed to escape into an impromptu party thrown by Ixel. Between his close escape and the moving performance of Ixel put on in Lady Theron's court. He was left a little stressed out. And last we saw him, he was having some drinks with an Elfir lady, I believe, at the bar.
Fab. We'll see Elifet when we get back into the action. But up next, Diana, tell us what is our idol, who our idol is, and what she was up to last session.
Last session, she was performing a lot because that is her go-to way of getting out of any sticky situations. The first time was after finding that the elephant was being chased and was leading us into a bunch of angry guards. Ixel created an impromptu party, which then led us to being invited to see to our quarry, and then was asked to do a performance, which she did rather beautifully, incorporating some of the lovely architecture of this old vacant opera house, and basically it served as a distraction for the rest of the team to hopefully get information. And I think we left off with just her relaxing I after the performance, because she hadn't.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the last thing I remember.
Yeah, I think our closing shot specifically was Lady Theron, and kind of enthusiastically like telling you how great you are, and
Right.
her noble friends half-heartedly telling you how great you are. And last but not least, just slipping in under the wire there, Jim. If you want to shout out something while you're here, go ahead. Do the usual spiel before we get to your character.
Sure, I'm Jim Crocker, and folks who know me from outside the Gauntlet know me because I sell a whole lot of indie role-playing games and story games at gamer conventions all up and down the East Coast and in the Midwest. And I just got back from Dreamation this weekend, which was a really wonderful show. The next show I'm going to be at doing selling stuff will be PAX East in Boston, and I'll be at the Gamma Trade Show, kind of helping out Indie Press Revolution there. But just look for me at other conventions all throughout the year. You can find me on Twitter at Jim Likes Games, and I have a website, jimlikesgames.com, where I sell all the games that I sell at conventions.
Fab. Not to like ask more of you, but like since we've gotten to you, do you mind telling us about your character then?
Yeah,
and what
Leandro, I can't help but notice that something happened to your face here. What's the like the thing that like is that?
Look, not to get into my hygiene, but if you had seen me beforehand, before I did the thing, my beard was my facial hair was reaching what my dad would call biblical status.
Okay.
So
it looks good. You look very clean cut. So that's fantastic. But no, just I logged on and I was like, "Where's Leandro?" Oh, okay. Oh, I see what happened there. So
yeah, well,
right.
the new view probably didn't help as well.
Yeah, so I am playing Jez'zara, who is a during her durance, she was a hunter. She was kind of one of these like like safari guides for rich people, for like rich elves that wanted to experience a little bit of danger, but in a controlled setting. They wanted a simulation of danger, of what it was like to have to hunt stuff when they absolutely don't have to at all. And so I would do stuff like, find a monster or, some kind of big beast, track it to its lair, figure out where it was, mark where it was, maybe harry it a little bit to kind of wear it out and weaken it down, so that then my elf masters could come along and do their safari thing and get a kill and bring a trophy back home. So that was what I spent my durance doing, and as a result, I became bonded with a hyena named Dustjaw, and Dustjaw and kind of my connection with Dustjaw eventually led me to a drow deity called Charnel, and I became a priestess of Charnel after my my durance was over. So I am a carrion priest. That is that's my class, and I'm basically, like, in kind of traditional fantasy RPG terms, I'm pretty much the ranger. So I have that kind of connection to nature, and I can do stuff like take spoiled food and make it good again, and some other cool stuff that we'll see whether I get a chance to do it during this game here. And when last we left, I was snooping around where I shouldn't have been, while our diva was doing her hold everybody's attention thing, and came across a young woman who was that our sociopath host, whose name it escapes me, but the basically, I mean, she's pretty much like a gang lord is what it sounds like. They're like essentially warlords or like gangster bosses or something like that for this quarantined neighborhood. But her kind of like favorite entertainer, her sort of pet drow, who was, I guess, like a singer dancer to some extent, but certainly not in the way that our Ixel is. And so she's all kind of freaking out that she's going to lose her position. And we had kind of a confrontation where I said, look, if you want to go, we'll take you out of here and you don't have to live this life anymore. And I think we literally finished last session with that scene as being the kind of the very last thing that we did. So.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna pick up ever so quickly with everyone, with one by one with everyone else. I was telling these folks off broadcast, Jim, but like my plan is kind of like to kind of wrap up what's happening here in Lady Theron's court, and to just basically partially to give some people the chance to fire up their high advances, partially to give you your wish, which is to hunt someone down or something. Who knows? But we're probably going to do a bit of a bit of a time jump once we get out of this court. I'm planning on staying here as soon as possible, because one of the things that also happened is one of the things you found, Jez'zara, is you found this strange cylinder with weird like writing on it. It's emanating this thing, and you were looking for the source of revolution. And
I was going to say I found a canister full of revolution is what I'm pretty sure I probably found.
Yeah, and you were like, oh, we need Phyrrus for this, but Phyrrus went off to talk to a demonologist, Null, and well, no, I'll keep it ambiguous anyway. We'll see when we get there. I'm going to jump to the other two first, because also one of the things I think I mentioned in the chat, but I'll give you time to look over it, Jim, is that you got some advances. If you want to look over what you want to get, while I kind of, let's wrap up the other two first. If that's okay? If you want to have a look over like what sort of advances you want to get. Cool. So we'll get to you in a bit, but for now, let's jump to let's jump to Elifet. Are you gonna stick around to talk to this Elfir lady, or are you just gonna drink and bugger off, so to speak?
I think I will. I think I will stick around and talk to her for a little bit. Trying basically to gauge her feelings on this whole revolution thing.
Yeah, because she was the one you noticed that. Oh, go on.
Yes, because I got the feeling that she wasn't here entirely of her own volition. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, she was the one you noticed was incredibly tired and kind of like seating herself up out of fatigue, more or less.
Yeah.
And I've forgotten what her mask is like. Oh no, her mask is a tragedy face. It's like that big, that kind of like oval stuff, and her hair is kind of frizzy and kind of cut. It looks kind of unclean, but if you look closely, you notice that those spikes are they look sharp. They look carefully manicured. She has this air of like unkempt nobility, but partially because she's been there for a while, also because she's just, she kind of puts up that front. I think you can tell that easily enough. She kind of has spats on, I'd say. That's sort of like that sort of suit, and she's got gloves, and she's pouring you another round of this glowing green liquid, and she's like, I would have thought that drow like yourself, if you're signing up for revolution, you wouldn't come to here.
Well, as I was saying, I wouldn't have thought that the Elfir would be looking for it anywhere. So when I heard they were, I was intrigued.
Oh, you got that right. That may be blunt. None of us would be looking for any form of revolution. We're sitting high where we are. Gulp. You don't know how she's drinking through her mask, but you just hear a gulp. Her liquid's disappeared and she's pouring another shot. Like, we wouldn't be induced in any way otherwise, It wouldn't be in our nature, if you believe that crap. No, that we'd have to have a little bit of. She looks at the drink. Something in there, Otherwise, why would anyone of the Elfir want to bring down this system? Something you're looking to do, right?
I wouldn't go that far. But yes, I suppose the Elfir are within your own hierarchy, like anyone else. There are those who have power and those who do not. But then the Lady Therin seems to have power of her own, and perhaps this district is not what it once was. But we are a long way from Crimson Row here.
Yeah, I was gonna say you notice we have hierarchy, but even the lowest Elfir matters 1,000,000 times more than any one of you, drow. Yes, there are people like Lady Therin who are in the higher ups. There are people like me who are hangers on for necessity to survive, but gulp. I'm still sitting pretty where I am compared to you.
You certainly are. And as I say, it's a curiosity. Is the Lady Therin not concerned that this dream she has created could spread further? I know the city guard are doing their best to prevent it from doing so, but...
Well, that's the thing. Lady Therin holds a lot of power. She holds a lot of strings. She didn't create this dream. This dream came to her one night. We were having the usual. We were putting on her latest opera, or her favorite opera. It involves dancing on hot coals. It's fantastic when you don't skimp on production values. That's one night. Just had her like that. Same as always, Lady Therin. She likes power, but she likes her comforts. She's never the type to just strike out and bring a system down. And we had a few visitors in, just some defectors from the Archbishop's faction, some humans prattling about their latest proto-Katos engines or whatever. And we had some outsiders from down south, a Null, you might have seen him. Him of the unfortunate name and the even more unfortunate title. Oh, the poor chap.
Indeed.
He came in with a proposition and with a no, not a proposition. He came in with just a promise, and then the next day, Lady Therin starts babbling about bringing everything down, what's right, how to make it right with the world, blah blah blah, and all that. And she starts talking about about this dream she had. Now, you know about dreams. I've taken a few. Bliss is certainly very nice to chase the night terrors away, but revolution, that's costly. You don't introduce that to an Elfir because their idea of revolution is confused and nonsensical because we've never had cause for it, ever. So whatever dream you're chasing, she's only the next step. And here she's kind of leans forward and she's kind of like, you can see plainly that Lady Theron is unfit for this sort of revolution that you and your friends are plotting. If you don't, then drink up and we'll see our separate ways. But I believe you know what I'm talking about.
She seems a liability, certainly. But not my liability.
Oh, do I need? I guess I need to do a bit more enticement, huh? She pulls out another bottle. Oh no, this isn't an enticement. This is just social lubrication. Don't worry about it. All right. Well then, no, this wouldn't. I don't think you quite understand what it'll be like to take Lady Theron off the chessboard. Not only will you rid Ivory Row of one of its perfidious 3 landlords, you would make certain denizens here just a bit happier. And yeah, I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna think, oh, me, our impoverished nobles making their lives a bit happier. Yes, that's a benefit. Yes, but it also means, Ivory Row is fragmented, and all those poor drow that Lady Theron had under her thumb, well, they'll have a chance to scatter. Did you see Chris there before your idol took the boards? She was quite lovely, wasn't she? And she's been here for a while, looking for a chance to get out.
Very well. I think I can see my way to doing this. As you say, it may just be she may, in the grand scheme of things, just be a small stone, but the ripples could spread far. There is one thing I would ask of you. It is unlikely that I will be able to gain an audience alone with her ladyship. But if you think you might be able to do so, then I will ensure this is taken care of.
I keep using this I keep using this in every game I run, but you can feel her grin, as if like, yeah. She uses that and she pours out another. This time, this liquid is purple. She pours another shot for you, and then that can be arranged, certainly. Might I know the name of our courageous hero who will about to rid us of the Thorn Tyrant of Ivory Row?
Let us say I have a feeling that that the Lady Theron may have a visit from Death's Head this evening.
Well, let me, the Countess Ashbudel, drink to the Death's Head's health.
Cool. Yeah, and I think I'm going to raise my glass, drink it, put it down on the counter, and then do my slide back into the crowd thing,
Yeah. Speaking of Lady Thayer and Ixel, let's cut to you. What let's cut to you for the moment. So I think you have a moment. I think Lady Theron's kind of like she's saying, yes, you're most magnificent. You certainly bolster our cause, my lady. Would you mind? Would you mind? Would you mind accompanying me to my quarters?
I think it takes like Ixel a minute to like ponder that, all the while presenting with like an amiable like expression. Looks over to seeing Phyrrus whisked away by the knoll, and then gives a glance over to where Elifet is, and then I think she'd wait until she got like Elifet's attention to see like, and before giving a nod and saying yes.
Oh, that's most fantastic, my dear. The rest of you, take your 10-minute break, and then we'll be back for another one of Chris's amazing arias. And she kind of takes and you can see, I think we would describe Lady Theron, her mask is like a thorny raven's mask. It's deep, dark eyes. Her mask is jagged, big headdress of feathers, and she takes up. She has taloned hands as well. She has taloned gloves. She kind of takes her shoulder and is like, "Please walk with me, my dearest." And she kind of marches towards the quarters, which we'll mention Jez'zara is at those quarters, but more on that later. She's chattering as you're talking, and most of it is just confused verbiage because you know what it is to plan a revolution. Right. You know at least the idea of it. Revolt, proper practice managed revolt. And what
this seems more like a bored housewife planning, a party kind of thing, right? Where they're like,
yeah, exactly. Like the plan she's out spooning you right now is basically like, we will use people like you, artists devoted to our cause, as a grand folly, a grand distraction, so that when the ruling classes, those who always look down on us, those gaudy, bejeweled charlatans down in the Silver Quarter, those who abandoned us, those who left behind true nobility, they'll be so easily distracted by your performances, and they'll be so distracted they won't even notice us when we reach behind him and knife him in the back and take what is rightfully ours, my dear. Would that not seem a most grand plan?
To be able to knife the people that have caused us the most harm? Yes. That would be lovely.
I knew you had an eye for the future, my dearest. You will take us far, and with you we will soar. And she's kind of she's gonna just keep babbling on. You've got a moment to like winkle whatever, or try and ask her whatever you want, and or do what you want. She's quite a bit distracted. What's up?
I'm trying to think what I want to do. She's definitely gotten on my nerves by this point, all this ceaseless babbling and posturing.
I was going to say, if there's nothing in particular you wanted from her, there is something I could do at this point.
Sure.
But so one of the moves I just one of the advances I just took is the Saint of Hidden Faces, which allows me to switch places with another character who is wearing a mask if they choose. So I could appear in her quarters in your place if you would like.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think she's still wearing the performance mask, which is like a darker, so like she wouldn't have taken that off because she's still technically in performance mode. And cool. Yeah, like I think Ixel is like fingering the hidden dagger she has, like, oh yes, just to stab the people, like, like Lady Theron is one of the worst types of Alfear that she's interacted with back during her durance that she despises.
That's cool. So I think what we're seeing is as kind of Ixel is like drawing her blade. We kind of like focus on the blade, and then we switch, and the mask drops down, and the big death's head mask sort of folds out, and and Death's Head is stood there drawing it's a sort of one of those long, appropriately butterfly knives, and he's going to again grin behind the mask and say, "A knife in the back, I think, is just what's required, my dear," and lunge for her.
Okay, so what's gonna happen is
I took Elifet's place, right, at the bar.
That's right. So yeah, you're kind of, I kind of faded into the crowd a bit. So yeah, you'll just appear somewhere in the somewhere in the crowd. Yeah.
I think immediately, like when this happens, she goes to the bar and drinks. Like,
I think and Lady Ash and the Countess Asphodel sees you and is going to talk to you. But let's get to so Elifet. What's going to happen here is you're going to kill her because she's frail. She's just a lady, mad lady with lots of power, but as in social power, but not martial power. I'm going to ask you to roll, and the roll isn't that if you kill her or not, but how you're going to get away with it.
That is
how well you get away with it. Yeah.
So are we looking at sneak here, maybe?
Yes, it's going to be a sneak, and you're in high society, so
sure thing.
You've got that.
Let's see how this goes.
Treaty.
Oops, so I've gone into the wrong tab. There we go. Oh God!
Oh wow,
that's impressively bad.
That is actually amazing. Oh my God! All right, so we'll take the highest, thankfully. Otherwise, a 1 is all right. So before we get to the consequence of that, because I'll leave you up for just a bit of suspense, let's cut to Lady Theron's quarters. So Jez'zara, you've calmed down this singer sufficiently enough, and she's basically telling you what she kind of did, which was she had a moment of freedom, and she managed to put a message out to some friends she had out in the hidden, which is like this group of like people who kind of moved into random houses in Ivory Row, and she put a message out that it was a bit of a desperate message, and her message was she wanted a dream commission. She wanted to bring a dream of revolution into this place. And she's kind of saying teary-eyed, and she just said, I just thought the Lady Theron, I thought like she just needed a bit of awakening, and then she'll learn her lesson. And then she'd let us all go, and she'd believe in us and believe in freeing us.
People like Theron do not learn the lessons that you want to teach them. They learn the lessons that serve them.
Yeah, I think at that like, yeah, these are Chris. It's just it was foolish to even dream of something like that, wasn't it?
This, I point down at the cylinder. This is that what this is?
That is what the no urine said. He said he came. He answered my message. He knew my name. My name is Chris. He knew it. He said he came to bring us revolution, and he gave Our Lady a night with it. And when she came out, I thought she started making sense. That the system serves only the higher ups. But then she did not see that she was one of those. She thought she was oppressed, which she's not. But this dream, she said it showed her the way. It showed her this feeling of being downtrodden, of being oppressed.
And from it, she learned the lesson that served her. Not that she should raise up those beneath her, but that she deserved a place higher up.
I think, yeah, she just put her hands in her head. It's all my fault. I'm sorry.
Stop it. Like I just smack her. Pow! Stop it. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. What we need to keep this from. If it has this effect on Lady Theron, it will have this effect on anyone who partakes of it. They will forget that there are people beneath them, and they'll become obsessed with the people above them. And that's when that is how revolution turns into tyranny.
What would you do with it then? What should we do?
I look around the room. Is there like a how is this place illuminated? How's it lit?
There is a skylight above. Not many placeable windows. You want the windows are all like boarded up. I'd say there's like a lonely shaft sky up. There's like what I'm thinking is there is a big bed. There's a big bed. There's the vanity, and next to it is the trunk. It's actually fairly like small and spacious. You get the feeling that Lady Theron actually doesn't spend much time there. There are some boarded up windows, and there's a skylight.
Are there candles or anything like that in here?
Yeah, there definitely can be candles.
Do matches or anything? Like, what is the?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say you can't light the candles. Yeah, no, yeah. There's
so I look at her and I say, go to the servants, tell them to leave now, and leave with them. You must lead them out of here. Any that you don't will burn with Lady Theron, I say. And I turn my back to her, and I get some matches, and I light one, and I just like touch it to a curtain. And like once that's going good, I kind of yank the curtain down and I toss it on the bed so the bed starts to catch on fire.
Yeah, no.
And I like lift that cylinder up and I throw it into the middle of the bed. And I'm just gonna.
You touch the cylinder. There's an important thing that's gonna happen.
Oh, okay, sure.
You're gonna roll D6 mind stress.
Oh, yikes!
Because you've touched something of.
Oh yeah,
demonic.
I thought it was. I figured it was all in there. So.
Yeah, but
there we go.
Cylinder isn't.
That's a 1.
Oh, that's good. You want to roll low on that because that means you only get 1 stress. You have a lot of stress right now. That actually bumps you up to 7. We'll give you a chance to refresh in the future. But hold on. Okay, you're fine for now. Yeah. So So keep narrating.
Yeah, and so and I pick it up and I think just for a moment, my mind is filled with contempt for the people who are too stupid to see the light of charnel. And then I say, no, that's not how that works. and I toss the cylinder onto the bed, and I, go around and I like grab a couple of whatever diaries and some bottles of perfume and stuff and like toss them on there to really get things going. And I'm going to walk out and go find my friends and let them know that the house is going to burn down.
Before you can do that, though, so I think what's going to happen is behind the bed, a door opens, and you recognize how these door opens because you've seen Phyrrus open just strange doors.
Oh, it's one of those like doors to the library system. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yes, to the Vermisian.
Okay.
And before, so you've tossed all the burning and stuff, but out of that door comes out this big furry claw as it reaches and grabs the cylinder and starts pulling it inside. What do you do?
Oh, so I have something called a prey hook. I have two weapons. I've like a big nasty cleaver, which is my like war axe, and I have a prey hook, which is like a hook on a chain. And so that big claw reaches out and grabs the cylinder, and I like swing it twice to get a little momentum, and then snap it out and wrap it around the claw, and then just like anchor my feet and haul on it. So it's trying to pull it in, but I'm just going to leave it there just to kind of cook over the fire to keep it from pulling back through the door.
Nice. All right. So this is going to be a roll of some sort. Let's see what you have. I'd say this is kind of like pursue, because you're kind of, it's almost like you're making sure this claw, or the person behind this claw, with the claw, doesn't get away.
This is totally the kind of thing where, like, if somebody was running away from me, I would be doing that.
Yeah.
So I roll pursue with mastery.
Yes.
Which means I got.
Yep.
I'm gonna roll 2d6, right? Or 2d10.
3d10, because you always get an extra. You start with a d10 for luck, and then you got the skill and a mastery, so that's 3d10.
So I'm gonna add another orange d10. So I got that.
Oh, if only that was the roll.
It is not the roll. I said it was not the roll, so it's not the roll. But I'll take that 10 that I did roll. There we go.
Nice. Okay, so you've hooked this claw, and they're cooking, but you're not gonna let it go. So you managed to drag out. Surprise to no one, it's urine of the Golden Sands, and I only realized what that actually meant an hour after we started last week's session.
Urine of the golden showers. Yes. Yeah.
Oh God! All right, no, I have weight stop.
I honestly thought that was intentional by you, considering that this was a language-based wordplay game.
Yeah. Urine of the whatever the yellow snow. That's.
God damn it. All right. Okay. So you've yanked him out. I'm gonna stay with that name, with urine, and he's growling, and he's not happy.
Is he on fire?
Oh yeah, his hand is on fire.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's what I wanted.
You know what? Since you've got this prey hook, you might as well deal some damage. Roll me a d3.
Why don't I do that? I'm gonna deal some damage.
Yeah.
So it's
d3, just a d3.
And it's also stunning. That's the other thing. That is. It has the tags ranged and stunning as my thing here. So all right. So d3 is going to be a 6 that we just cut to half. Boom. That's 3.
Nice. All right. So, well, that doesn't take him out. He's got more resistance than that. But yeah. But you have him, over fire. He's yelping. He's angry. But he is tussling. He is kind of tussling against your chain. But he is like one hand on the fire, the other hand trying to grab it. And he's growling, and he's like, "You don't deserve the gifts that we have given the Spire. You you, Philistine, you think you can destroy our make with simple fire?
I think it's a start, I say.
Yeah, I think we can cut away from there for the moment, and because we need to resolve poor Elifet, who failed quite a bit. First we need to roll some stress.
One thing. Do I get to refresh? Because I believe killing Lady Theron counts as eliminating an enemy of the Ministry.
Yes, yeah. Oh, of course, yes. So yeah, before we roll up your new stress, or do you want to roll up your new stress and then refresh, or do you want to refresh now because you have 4 stress at the moment?
Then I will do it now because yeah.
Okay, cool.
That seems like a good. Is it D3 or?
It depends on the action, and since you killed Lady Theron, who's one of the 3 landlords, that's a D8.
Nice.
Only a D8 because it goes up in 3 tiers. So D3 is low, D6 is moderate, and D8 is high. So if what you roll?
That's a 4 on the nose. So
nice.
There.
I'll just delete 4 and say 4 shadow stress. That should be fine. All right. So for stress, since you're gonna get caught killing Lady Theron Thorns and Silk, roll me that D8 again.
Yep.
That seems pretty severe. If you get another 4, that'll be incredibly amusing.
It's another 4. No, it's a 10.
Wait, you should roll D8.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know how that.
Yeah,
that was a D8 I rolled. Oh, unless I put it in the wrong box, I can re-roll that as a D8.
All right. We'll let the refresh stand.
Yeah, sorry, I forget which side of the. That's a 5. So yeah, that's
all right. Okay, so you got 1 more stress then. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me 4, 5. All right. Okay. So let's see if you suffer fallout. Oh, poor dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. All right. So. Oh, you poor dear Elifet. I'm assuming Ixel is bonding with the Countess.
Yes, because Ixel believes Elifet's good at his job, so she figures he doesn't need any backup.
Despite all evidence to the contrary.
No, that's the thing. You're all hardened professionals. You're good at what you do, but sometimes rope just breaks the last minute. Sometimes person is just a bit early. You're all when they're rounding around. It's just it just happens. Oh geez, these are some terrible fallouts. I'm not gonna do that. All right. Now what's gonna happen is describe kid. Okay, so you killed Lady Theron. I'm assuming, yeah. Knife to the back. It's all very poetic. It's all very lovely. But what's gonna happen is, as she's kind of lying in the pool of blood, you you start feeling really angry. You start feeling like, do you ever feel like you're just downtrodden? That you've been laid low, and it's all the fault of those above you. It's just like you have this like piercing. Actually, no, I shouldn't describe this to you. You describe to me. How does revolution feel, Elifet?
Yeah, so it feels. It makes me feel strong and righteous, and it feels like love. My family gave up their lives for the revolution, and to carry it on in their name is the closest I'll come to them again. So it's welcome.
Wow. All right. So what's gonna happen is your mind's gonna be kind of taken. it's gonna be overcome by this dream, and you're gonna get the fallout obsessed, and your mind's gonna be focused on a singular goal. If you make a roll that doesn't go towards that singular goal, you actually, you get a difficulty all the time. You just get a difficulty once, so you get one less dice whenever you roll anything that doesn't involve that goal. But if you roll towards that goal, you get mastery. So it's a quid pro quo.
Yep, sure thing.
So yeah, you're now obsessed for the moment, and as this revolution, the stream is seeping upon you. Oh man, it'd be nice for someone to have bliss on them. Well, who knows if that works or not. Ixel, you're with the Countess Asphodel, and she almost has not much to say to you other than, oh, you must be you used to performing for Elfir, blah blah blah. And that's when you kind of hear, let's see, Jez'zara, you asked Chris to lead the servants out. You didn't ask for the nobles. You didn't ask him to lead. You didn't ask her to lead the nobles out, right? Yeah, I'm gonna. It seems so. Jez'zara, I was just one quick. Yeah. So did you ask Chris to lead the servants out? Jez'zara?
Yes, yeah, I asked her to get the servants out of the place.
All right, so not the nobles. Oh, the poor dears. So Ixel,
Sorry, the nobles are Elfir, aren't they?
yes, they're all here. Yes.
Yeah, so I want her to get the servants out.
Yeah, fair enough. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I just want to clarify because for the moment, I think Ixel, you're in the bar, talking to Lady Asphodel, and I think she's curious. Like, I would have thought like someone of your performancing caliber would have been up to talk to the Lady Theron by now. She wouldn't be quick to let someone like you escape her grasp. Said you're here.
Yes. The wonderful thing about a durance is that it eventually ends, and that means I get to choose who I spend my time with.
Did you say those to Lady Theron?
Of course not. I still have some of my teachings from my durance, but she was nicely distracted on this or that, on this revolution and all that
Hopefully
silly
not
talk
for long.
that nobles like to have when they're bored.
She has stayed on for far too long, clearly. But I hope those dreams would flee her soon enough. If she could wink at you, she would. But I think she's gonna like. Well, she kind of stands up. It's like, well, I've had enough of her exotic liquor for now. Unless you have nothing else to be doing, my lady idol, would you care to accompany me outside of these walls? I fear spend enough time in the court, air gets stuffy, and I had hoped that Lady Theron would be taken up with whatever she's doing right now for quite a while.
I look around and if I don't see like anybody from the group, I'll just I'll nod to her. It's like, yes, I think some fresh air will do. But I'll keep on the lookout for anything. To Ixel, it seems a little too quiet all of a sudden. At the moment.
Yeah. I think Lady Asphodel, Countess Asphodel, picks up another bottle. This one is glowing yellow, glowing gold, and she's like, for the trip.
Of course.
It's just a walk to the outside. Try getting glasses as well. Speaking of things being quiet, you've let's jump to Jez'zara. You've got Urine hooked on your hand. Urine is trying to put on a brave face, or no, and he's like, "Oh, sure, try and bash your head in against our works. Your silly friend has still given us access to that most wondrous of Spire achievements. He's given us access to the Vermisian, my friend. And even if you take apart Revolution here, we are in your guts now. We are in your veins. A repository of knowledge and secrets within my grasp. And he's trying to pull away, and he is getting really cooked in this arm. But I presume you keep a steady grip.
Oh yeah. I'm just I'm literally like, all I want to do is just keep him in the fire so that he burns up.
Yeah. So I think he kind of realizes that he's just getting desperate, and hold on, let me look up his, I wouldn't say moves, but the stuff he had. I think he starts whispering, and suddenly you feel okay, now this is just a small sample, but Jez'zara, tell me, how does Revolution feel to you?
Oh,
you got that brief moment, I guess, when you touched the cylinder.
It feels to me like, God, it feels to me like the word of Charnel just, like, I picture in my head the spire, and just standing up above it is this like huge shadowy feral hyena that has the facial features of a drow, and as it like whines and yips and makes noises and stuff, blood falls from its jaws and just kind of like coats the spire and slowly falls down over it and drips down over the balconies and all this kind of stuff. And everyone it touches raises their voices up and they howl at the moon.
Nice. So you get an inkling of that. Just it's sharp, it's fierce, and you see what's happening. You blink back. You're back in the room. The fire is just starting to spread. It's probably gonna get to you soon. But you see what Urine is trying to do. He's whispering, and you can see the hand over the fire, the hand over the cylinder. It's starting to disintegrate. Its ashes is starting to spread to the cylinder, and you can feel the more of it spreads. The more urine is giving to the cylinder, the more the effect of Revolution is getting stronger.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah. So I just give one hard yank on the chain, and then the cleaver comes out, and I'm just gonna try and just lop that arm right off of him.
All right. So, okay, that sounds like a roll. I don't think you have any like skills or domains.
Nope, I don't have fight. I don't have fight, so I assume I'd just be rolling a regular single D10 for that, probably, right?
Yep.
So I'll do that. Let's take that chance. See what happens. Roll that guy there. It's a 9.
Yeah. All right. So describe to me the lopping off.
Yeah, I think like I'm kind of like tugging on it with both arms, and I realize what's happening. So like left arm like this, and so then I just kind of like snap my right arm like this and sort of like wrap the chain around my arm and give a hard tug, and then the axe comes up from behind my back, and I just tug hard and kind of reach out and just like wonk it right into his shoulder while I'm tugging on the chain to try and just pull that, just chop through and just pull the arm right off.
Fab. Roll me a d6. That's your axe's damage die.
My war cleaver.
Nice.
Oh, it's just one. Bummer.
Oh, that's fab. So all right. So like all villains, he lives to fight another day. So as you lop
That's
off as the arm, he gets pulled back because he's been pulling away, and he for a moment, just a lot of blood congealing, but you can tell when he put his arm there, you can see some like this red viscous energy already knitting it together, coming out of him his paw as he kind of leans to the doorway to just snarl, just that proper classic snarl. It doesn't even give you a kiss off line as he closes the door behind him. As the arm falls on the cylinder, and that's the thing. He was feeding it like there's a ritual, there's a procedure to feeding an eidolon, and you give it too much.
Demon bullshit he was doing, yeah.
Yeah, but if you give it too much, it just supercharges. So this kind of like shockwave happens, and you're blown back as this demon cylinder, along with his arm and this ritual that's been severed or whatnot, just starts. You can feel the energy cascading, but it's a confused sort of energy. It's not that vision you saw anymore. It's just noise as kind of like the fire warps the cylinder as the energy starts to crackle in it, and you can tell that you have wrecked the cylinder, and I think it's time for you to go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think this may be a thing where like my eyes snap open because the hyena's licking my face because I like got blown into a wall or something like that. And I hold myself up and time to let this place burn, Duskgrin. And I'm whatever, out and down and out the nearest exit that I can find.
Fab. All right. So I think everyone is just about ready to leave Lady Theron's place. One last thing. The Elifet, I think as you're standing there above your handiwork, you actually a gaggle of people around on the corner, and you probably think, oh no, it's a bunch of people you have to fight over. But no, it's actually it's Chris and a bunch of other servants. And they stop. They're not many actually. There's like 7 servants, but they stop and they look at what you've done. They look at you, and you can see Chris is the poor thing has had a roller coaster of a day. She looks like, again, she's shocked for no reason, and then she sees you in your glory, and she's like, You've done it. You're who? And then she kind of realized, like, oh wait, we need to go. You need to get out of here. This place is coming down soon.
Indeed, my wayward children. Our work here is done, and he's going to reach down and dip his fingers into the blood pooling at his feet and draw a circle, almost like a moon, on the wall next to him. But there is much more work to be done, in the name of our glorious mistress and the Lady of Vengeance.
All right, I think we can montage it out. Let's montage it out this bit. You and Ixel, you and Countess Asphodel walking out. I think when you walk out, you can see the smoke. You can see like crumbling and whatnot. I don't think you're all gonna come out the same entrance. And Jez'zara, you get out probably to your side entrance, maybe even through the same way that the 2 ladies you accosted were going through. Maybe you end up back at that house where the party has died down, but it was still happening. And Elifet, you come out with a group of, for lack of a better term, followers. So as you all kind of watch as the Lady Theron's house kind of burns down, and you feel this big wave of energy kind of shoot out from the sky. This sudden demonic yell. A yell that all of Spire hears. And I'm gonna do some bookkeeping, and then we're gonna take a break, and then I'll tell you what happens in a week. Because what's gonna happen in a week from here is that demonic yell that reverberates around Spire, and you have one last loose end you need to find. Your friend Phyrrus, I think you'll find out in a couple hours after this when you all get together. Your friend Phyrrus is missing, and Jez'zara, that a demonologist, has gotten access to Vermisian. You're muted there, Jim. What did you say?
Yeah, it was consorting with that demon, the null demon priest. Of course, he's missing.
Yeah, and then suddenly this null demon priest has access to the Vermisian.
He's an idiot. Yeah.
Oh dear. All right. So before we start, I think before we take a break, Jez'zara, I think you said you made a bond with Chris, the singer. So make sure to put that there in sheets. That is an individual. But Death's Head, you made a street level bond, which means you have a bond with a group. What do you call this group of followers you just made? What would you call them?
I think I would call them vengeful ex-slaves.
Yeah. Okay. That's right. So because we're gonna go into more like another investigative. Oh, go on.
Emancipated. That's what they are.
Yes. Yeah, that's cool.
I love those kind of names. It ends with an ed. All right. Okay. So I think we are gonna take a break, and when we come back, we'll say a week has passed. We'll get to see what Ixel's masterpiece is. We'll see what sort of steps y'all have taken to track down these demonologists, and we'll see how it goes. And I'll explain some more stuff. I'll explain more stuff how bonds work, how you can actually use them. So we get like a full view, better view of Spire's system, and then let's see if you can track down this null.
And what about refresh? Do I get a refresh?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah, because you complete the hunt for revolution. You've completed that phase, but now you're up for a new hunt. With so okay, so because that's a big one. That's another D8. Roll me a D8.
Just roll a D8.
Yep.
I got a 1.
Oh, yeah. All right. Oh. Well, refresh. Yeah.
So what does that mean? I just knock 1 stress off of what I've got accumulated, or
yeah, and you had 7 accumulated, and I just knocked 1 off shadow, so that's 6.
There we go. Okay, cool.
Cool. All right, so let's take a break. Let's say 5 minutes. That's good. Cool. I'll see you in a bit. God, I should start just trimming my facial hair instead of shaving it. I look like a child.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
You are a child. What are you talking about?
All right, fine. I'm a child compared to most people in the Gauntlet, I guess. But I look like, I don't know, I look like a 10-year-old.
At least they're
Yeah.
still recognizable. I have a friend who, when he shaved his beard off, I was like, "You look like you're 10. You do look old." It was just like for a whole week, I was like, "This is weird."
Yeah, I guess I have that.
'Cause I honestly, it could be because of lack of sleep. I honestly didn't realize you shaved.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen my chin. It's
You don't miss it at all?
not especially. Not especially. It also doesn't help that, you know, I've always had this sort of you know, Homer Simpson style 5 o'clock shadow. So even when I have just shaved, like when I did used to sort of shave regularly, it still just didn't look like it after, you know, like an hour or so anyway. It's because I've, you know, got quite pale skin and dark hair, so it's just like permanent stubble sort of thing. It's
Yeah, it's the point I've gotten to where like I really need to go and wax more often for my face because yeah, within an hour of shaving, it gets really annoying.
Fab, we're all here, and forget that all this is being recorded. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I knew. I saw the live button.
yeah.
Oh well.
You could always edit it out.
I could. It takes a while. I had to edit out a thing in the very first Gauntlet Hangouts around. You were there, Jim. I had to edit it out, and I used YouTube's bespoke editing system, which oh my god,
it's the worst. Like you're way better downloading, editing, and whatever you have at home, and then uploading it back up. That's,
yeah, like
that's definitely what I discovered. That like when I was like a neophyte and trying to edit it online, it's a nightmare.
It's so much. Yeah.
Your video will be ready in 36 hours. It's like, wait, what the?
Yeah, why 30?
Wait a minute. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, I sort of like when I first started doing the couple of videos I've put up so far, I was just like, I could go through and edit out all like the breaks and stuff so it's a bit smooth. And I was like, I honestly like just the thought of sitting down and trying to edit video just like makes my brain shut down. It's
we can't all be cat ramen, unfortunately. Speaking of which, you just put up a video of that Good Society game we're playing in, but
I think it's more accurate to say that none of us can be cat ramen.
Yeah.
Yes. Like to say that not all of us can be Cat Raymond assumes that some of us could be Cat Raymond, and I think only Cat Raymond can be Cat Raymond. So, and you can leave that part in. Like that's as far as like I endorse that as a.
Oh yeah, I endorse that as well
as a public meme. So
it was hubristic of me to believe that anyone else could even. Okay, all right. Kat, who probably is never going to watch this. Well, I'll tell her all what you said later because I'm playing a game with her later tonight. But let's go back to where we are. So yeah, we are kind of going to jump ahead a bit. Let's say a few days, close to a week. I want to know what everyone's been doing since, as they kind of calm down. I think, as is typical with the ministry, you've kind of reported back and saying, all right, yeah, we've done it. And the ministry, in its obtuse ways, probably like sends you an oblique message, which is says the closest thing you'll get to a well done from the ministry is like, all right, cool. It just some sort of like just strange message, and you kind of use this like once the mission's done, you're off to like loose, and I think I'll let you try refresh again. You're kind of like recovering from this. I think if you all want to roll a d6 to refresh more stress, because that's one of the ways to refresh stress as well, is to lay low for a bit, and we'll give you a few days to lay low, do your own thing. Actually, I'm gonna ask each one of you one at a time what you're all doing, and then get you to roll. I'll start on the other way of the character keeper, Jez'zara. What have you been doing in a few days after taking care of Lady Theron and Revolution? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? So one thing I did was looked up. I have been keeping track of Chris. Like I make sure she gets out of the quarantine zone there. And probably what I would do is connect her with the old guy who runs the soup kitchen there.
Ooh, oh man, what was his name? Let me look at my notes. His name is. You never got his name. You got his sister's name.
Yep.
His name is Farron.
And is his sister that guardsman that
yes.
I kind of had a little bit of a meet cute with? Okay, yeah. So yeah. So like I basically kind of, while you find your footing and figure out what you need to do, here's a place you can go. If you can help them, they'll feed you. And, it's because the guy who runs, because his sister is a guardsman, it's also maybe a little safer than other places they might go because it's got that, that kind of extra bit of protection. So I connect them and make sure they're okay. I think the other thing that I would do is I'm gonna sniff around, pardon the pun, for signs of that knoll.
Nice. All right. So before we get to that, roll me a d6 so we can refresh some stress.
Yeah, sure. Boom, that's a 6.
Nice.
That clears
All
me.
right.
Nice.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, there we go. All right. So before we get to that, to what you've been doing to track down our null urine, Ixel, what have you been up to?
It's a bit of between of wondering where Phyrrus is because she's known Phyrrus the longest and is not. It's kind of unusual even when he gets into his I want to be stuck in the library researching for 24/7. She usually gets a response out of him. Between that and being inspired to create something, which is what I'll be using my advanced Truth is Beauty for. So yeah, she doesn't do any extra performances during this time, but she does let her fan club know that she's producing something new to hype it up so that people would be interested in it. And actually through her fan club, they would know a little bit about Phyrrus because they're the most, zealous of fans, to keep on an eye out to see if they hear or see him or anything like that. And I don't know if you want me to describe what she's creating right now or.
I think we'll leave it there for now. We'll get
Okay.
to you. But first roll me a d6 so you can refresh some stress. I think.
Oh, I rolled that earlier. I got a 2. So
Okay,
that
cool.
cleared the last of my stress.
All right, cool. And then, last but not the least, Death's Head, Elifet. What have you been up to? Now that you've got a posse.
Yeah, so I think we're going to see Elifet. He's up in the perch again, his old stomping ground. There's kind of it looks like a sort of what do you call it? Like a terrace bar sort of thing, though it's clearly derelict and out of use, and it's sticking right out over the edge of the spire. So you can see down sort of, the half a mile or whatever to the ground below, sort of maybe some light cloud around. And he's got the servants are there, and he's training with them. He's showing them sort of how to, some of that sort of martial arts training, showing them how to sort of get out of choke holds and get a knife to someone's throat, and he's got them kind of swarming up ropes hanging down from the wall of the spire next to them. But possibly, a couple of like scenes of him stalking Elfir guardsmen and the like along the streets at night, and possibly a couple more bodies are turning up than usual.
Wow. All right, roll me a d6. You're not gonna get rid of this fallout anytime soon. Actually, it's one of the more permanent fallouts. But roll, yeah, you're relieving kind of stress, I guess.
That's a 5.
Well, there you go. I mean, you won't get fallout anytime soon, then. Hopefully. All right. Okay, so let's jump back to. All right, so what's gonna happen is I'm gonna let the Jez'zara and Ixel do kind of the roles, and then we'll see how it goes from there. I think. And I know what to do to Elifet. So we're gonna go back in the same order. So Jez'zara, you're off looking for our demonologist urine, and I'm going to explain something else with the Spire system. The way bonds work is you can basically ask them for a favor, and you're going to put stress on that bond. And the stress is determined by how big the favor is. And if it's just a piece of advice, that's just one stress. If it's the place to go. If it's like a big favor, like I need you to get me something, it could be a D3 or D6 depending on what it is. So that's just an explanation, but like. So you're off looking for urine, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I think, well, probably like looking like the bonds you have. I think you definitely you can get like a pointer from either Yara or your worshippers, because the thing is, he's got access to the Vermissian now. And the Vermissian is kind of like anyone can have access to it if you're smart enough to get there.
So the Vermissian is that's the network, right? That's the.
Yes, it's technically a failed transdimensional subway.
Yeah.
It's kind of derelict. A lot of people, well, not say a lot, but you can get in if you're smart enough, if you can get to it. There are like 1 or 2 entrances that are like public, but most of the time. And there's usually like a derelict station depending on where you are.
Okay, so like I feel like that's a worshippers of Chernal thing. Like the 3 charnel worshippers I made are kind of like perhaps mentally ill, maybe not homeless, but like some very eccentric people.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if one of them is like an ex-librarian, who saw something they shouldn't see, and that's why now what they do is carve intricate sculptures from discarded bones, like maybe Misery.
Oh, is that how you pronounce that? Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, of course that's how you pronounce that.
All right, okay.
Hello?
God damn it. I've not played much fantasy games recently. I'm too used to
no, drown names are all like you put a Z in an apostrophe, but then take a word that means something else. Like you do like homonyms, like a lot of words that names that sound like other words and stuff, whatever. So
okay. All right, so you want to meet up with
Misery. I'm gonna ask Misery if she has seen or heard anything about something moving through the network that doesn't belong there.
All right.
I'm just gonna put the word out that I'm looking for a knoll with a missing arm.
Nice.
I don't know how, like, there can't be too many of those lurking around the Spire.
No, not really. Then again, not too many nodes have access to an interdimensional subway.
That's true.
But yeah, so I think
that narrows it down even more.
True.
I saw a knoll in the subway the other day. Did he have both arms? Yes. Okay, not my knoll. That's
not my knoll. Coming to you to ABC.
missing the right arm? No, left arm. Not my null. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm mad. Okay, all right, now focus. So you meet up with Misery, and you probably meet up at her where she carves her stuff, which is I get the feeling that she's the kind of person who, she carves sculptures from discarded bones, yes, but she doesn't really keep them. She just kind of carves them and puts them all around the Spire.
Yeah, it's like, and when I say sculptures, I mean like scrimshaw, right? Like she scrapes stuff into the bones, and then and she probably has a whole, like, in her head, a whole reason why this sculpture gets placed on this windowsill, and this one gets placed on the top of this, door lintel, and this one, and these two get placed on, opposite sides of the flange around a street lamp or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think when you see her, she's kind of carefully positioning these bones around this street lamp, and she's kind of like, oh, well, met Jez'zara, hero of the hour, hero of Spire.
I am hero of no one, Misery. I'm just another. I just am here. I am just another tooth in the jaw of Charno.
No doubt Charno's sharpest, most well-worked tooth. Although if you're well-worked, you're probably not that sharp. But then again, you're still quite effective, I assume? Considering all you've done.
I shrug.
Anyway, we've heard of your worries, your quarry this time. The demonologist of a knoll. Of course, gnolls have all sorts, but it's not hard to track down your quarry. After all, they run unrarefied circles in the Vermisian. That's fascinating.
I shrug again. He has pretensions of stealing the knowledge of the Elfir.
I don't know why he'd want that. The Elfir have not much to give. Unlike what we have, right? But we're not here to debate theology. You seems like you're in a hurry. And she's positioning this bone ever so closely. Another inch.
We have nothing to give the gnolls, but we have much that they would seek to steal.
Well, it's a question of what we give to our god Charnel from the gnolls, and whether the gnolls even darn, another inch. This bone is not all right. No, sorry. No, this is gonna consume my entire day, Jez'zara. But before that,
so can I help her? Can I make a religion roll to try and help her find the right spot for it?
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I'll let that happen. So that's 2d10.
Yeah, let's see what I got. And I kind of cock my head and look at what she's carved in there and what she's doing. I got a 5.
Okay, so that's still a success. You're not gonna get that. You're not gonna take that much stress because this is a low intensity situation.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, actually, no, that actually is a failure. So I think what's gonna happen is,
okay.
No, you're just gonna take 1 stress because again, low intensity. You're gonna take 1 stress to mind.
Yep.
So don't worry about it. I think.
Oh yeah, and I kind of like the idea that I look at it to try and help her. And I just get more confused than before I tried, because whatever system she's got in her head makes sense to her, but not anyone else. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think she's kind of like, oh, Jez'zara, you would need a couple moons and a dollop of glimmer before you can even puzzle this system of mine. But let me help you unpuzzle a system you're trying to unpuzzle, I guess. And she kind of leans out to you. She doesn't even look like she's annoyed. It's more like, yeah, of course. It's almost like she wants you to go now so she can get back to her work.
Yeah, she doesn't like being distracted. Yeah.
So, the Vermisian is derelict. it's meant to be broken. But we've heard rumblings recently down below. We've heard that the last train is operational once more.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, well, usually no one runs trains down in Remission because the Alfir got bored and decided to not finish it, but there's still one that runs, powered by God knows what, and it can't be stopped. It runs all up and down Spire, almost like it's in search of an essence. It's in search of this last little thing that our dear friend Noel misplaced. It's in search of wherever revolution went. You took care of all of that back in Ivory Quarter, right?
Revolution went into the sky in smoke.
Are you sure?
I don't understand the workings of demons.
Well, if this last train, captained by our Noel friend, is running up and down, it means that the search is still on, and there's still quite a bit of revolution left, dear Jez'zara. Look back. Who came into contact with dear revolution? Who was the catalyst for it? Lady Theron Thorns on Silk, yes?
Yes, but she's
Who
dead.
Who put
Sorry,
the blade?
as a player, she's dead, right?
Yes, she's dead.
Yeah. I thought that she get shanked, right?
Yeah, she got shanked.
Yeah, okay, by Death's Head. Yeah, okay, all right.
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
and
I say she was dealt with by someone who she was dealt with by someone who takes great pride in his work.
oh, a prideful one, huh, Dewey? Well, call this a hunch. Call this the shaking of my own bones. But I do believe if revolution seeped into the lady, then it shall go where the lady was last with. And if it's reached a prideful one, as you say, well, the fires of revolution may still burn bright.
So this train, what is it?
They call it the last train. It's a train that never stops. It'll keep going, powers by not what else. It's actually fairly useful. I've taken it once or twice, but it's been taken over. It's searching for a revolution. My best bet is you'd best seek not the train, but you'd best seek where it's going.
How do we learn that?
Well, if your demon friend is good at sniffing out revolution, then you'd best find your prideful one, because he'll be coming for your friend soon enough.
To take what traces of revolution lie within his heart.
It's a strong dream, isn't it? Did you ever get a taste of it? What was it like? I'm curious. I mean, I have my own little revolutions every now and then. What do you think I'm putting all these bones here? But you must have tasted it there, right?
I did. It did not agree with me.
Well, you'd best purge the rest of it, because if it did not agree with you, there are several more in Spire it will agree with.
It was not natural. It was fermented. It was placed upon us by the demons, worshipped by the gnolls, who would seek to cause division and strife. They would see the entire Spire overrun with their kind, and all of it fall. That helps no one.
Certainly not us. I mean, the idea of being force-fed those dreams. I'd like to believe that my dreams are of my own, but to be given those, that's a terrifying fate. You best be on your way. You'd best save us all, hero.
With Charnel's blessing, we will live to die a natural death.
Oh, if we can but hope.
Yeah, and I'm out. I'm gonna go find Death's Head.
Cool. So before we get to Death's Head, Ixel, tell us of this artwork of yours. What are you up to?
So normal, like most of Ixel's performances, like art, is usually performance work. It's usually either singing or like spoken word or a bit of like dancing and stuff. This time it's something completely different. What she creates is kind of a statue of sorts, made from all of her performance masks that she's used in the past, and a couple of masks that she used when she was on durance that she managed to square away. And I'm going to link a kind of example of it. It looks like almost like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a hurricane kind of style of like the mask going from what would look like normal-ish type of mask to the more gaudy and the more like horrific. And the centerpiece of it is abstractly a spine with sharp scarring across the back of like that you can like if you look close enough you could see it. And the scarring is like red tinged with like almost like a drow blood like color. Not red but like drow color, sorry. And the thing is that like some of the masks kind of look more like an Alfir kind of style of mask, and but majority of them are of drow style of masks. And what it does is when people gaze upon it, they feel revolutionary. They feel that they have to not in the same as in the dream where it's like anybody can feel revolutionary. It's legitly anyone who truly feels oppressed, that they have this feeling of like, I need to do something, I'm tired of the day-to-day kind of thing.
So like if Elifet looks at it, they just see a gaudy sculpture, or they
Yeah.
assume. All right. Okay, so let's make that roll then. That's a deceive plus occult roll, which you have both.
Yeah. So I roll 3, correct?
Yep.
Let's hope it's a good one. Oh, 6.
6, yeah, 6 is still a success at a cost. So, all right. So, I think the suggestion that becomes true, it's not that outlandish. So you're not gonna get that much stress. Roll a d3.
Okay. 1.
Fab. All right. So let's see. It's nice that you all refreshed, and there we go. You don't even have enough stress that I have to roll for Fallout. So I think. All right. So this move is fucking ridiculous. So let me read out the move for anyone watching. Yeah. Create a piece of art that embodies a suggestion. This process takes about a week. If you succeed, the suggestion becomes true as the world bends and twists to accommodate it. So yeah, I think, where do you place the statue? Like, is it just out in the open? I assume so, yeah.
Yeah. Somewhere where it's mostly for the drow to see, but not just like hidden away either. It's somewhere where like maybe if some of the Alfir are slumming or they have other business that they would come across.
Nice. I think I think what's gonna happen is, yeah, I think this is not. I don't think we'll see it through the course of the series, but I think this is definitely gonna affect your epilogue. But what's gonna happen is, I think when you're done and you're kind of like unveiled it, and there's probably like a bit of a ceremony as it's unveiled. I think someone sidles up to you as kind of like during the ceremony. Or sorry, you're gonna say something?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, so I think someone sidles up to you. They're looking at the statue. They're enraptured, but you can tell even though they're still wearing their goggles. This Harriet of the Three Sisters who's come out of her shell, and she's looking at this statue. And it's like, wow, there's a lot to interpret from this. It looks like. Did you find that dream? Revolution?
Yes. I did
What
not
was
get
it
a
like?
chance to test the dream, but no matter, like most dreams, there was nothing concrete about it.
Oh, but concrete builds foundations, and foundations is where we build upon buildings, statues. It's dreams are from where we start. And me and my sisters have only ever dreamed of, well, my sisters dreamed of extravagance, of wealth, of power. But truly, it is just to gain that bit of power, to grab the little bit of freedom that we can. That's all we dreamed about. And she's looking at the statue and she's nodding and she's kind of like, oh, we have no need of that form of revolution. The angry but constructed, complicated, just manufactured sort of dream. And she kind of looks at you and she kind of smiles and it's like, I believe we can provide better dreams of our own.
Usually, the best dreams are the ones that we do come up with our own.
I think she kind of smiles again and she's like, well. And she's looking back at the statue and I think what's gonna like, she doesn't say it, but she's kind of like, she looks inspired. It's almost like, we've done a lot doing drugs. Let's do other things now. Let's craft not nicer dreams, but like more productive dreams. And that's kind of like what you probably get. She's not gonna say that here, but she's just like, she looks excited.
Right.
And she looks at that. But then she's kind of like, this is certainly better than whatever revolution was spreading up in Ivory Row. Best make sure most of it's gone, though.
Yes, I've been sequestered, inspired by creating this all week. But I think I've heard from some that there's still a little bit out there of that false revolution.
Oh, there are, and I think you and I can agree that it's a hassle to have them around. We've heard tales of what's happened. Demons? Tricky business there. You'd best check up on anyone else who's there. And she kind of looks at you. It's just Quintus like, you don't seem blighted by revolution, do you? No, you seem your usual charming self.
Of course.
Best check up then on your allies who are there. They seem to be made of the same cloth as you. Driven, prideful, ready to let revolution burn into their hearts.
There's been one of my allies I've been looking for, actually, when I spared a free moment from creating this. It was the one that accompanied me when I first met you.
Oh yes, the book bound one. Well,
You or any of your cohorts haven't seen him around, have you?
the Permission sages are cagey lots, but if we find anything, we'll be sure to let you know. And she turns to the statue and is like, anything to give back.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
For now, though, I do believe you have Revolution to chase. One last chase.
I do.
All right. I think we know where you're headed then. Let's cut to you, Elifet. Where's your I think we'll go back to where you were. You said you're training in this like place in Perch. Can you describe like the place more to me?
Yeah, certainly. So, like I said, it's kind of an old sort of like, looks like a rooftop terrace bar, but it's essentially a big balcony sticking out of the side of the spire. It's I think it has like a kind of a glass awning over the top, but it's otherwise open to the elements. Obviously, we only train at night, but like I said, I think it's kind of it's lots of kind of polished granite, and it was clearly quite grand at one point, but it's sort of fallen into disuse. Or may have never really fallen into use in the first place, certainly not since anyone can remember. Yeah, there's sort of I think there's maybe some kind of we've kind of there are some like people have put like planters out here essentially growing fresh fruit and vegetables in a rare place where it actually gets sort of natural light.
Nice. You have some people with you, right?
That's right. Yep. So yeah, these are all the servants that escaped from the Lady Theron's place. They're all now wearing just kind of fairly simple masks on their face, probably pretty much like balaclavas actually, rather than kind of face masks, just like eye masks or what have you.
Nice. So I think, yeah, so while in the midst of your training, as you're just being there, you hear this big screeching noise, as if this giant mechanical clattering is screeching to a halt, but you can't figure out where it is. You can hear it ringing out in this hall, and it probably stops like your students for a bit, as kind of like it's almost like in another fold of reality, you can hear that this noise is coming from, as kind of like, I wouldn't say the wall, but kind of like the air at the front of the hall, not right in front of you, but I'm assuming that you're all kind of here and here at the front of the hall, blocking your exit. That's probably not going to stop you, but you see, blocking the main exit, and suddenly kind of like this door in space just opens, and coming out of the mist and the dramatic lighting, steps out. Familiar face. You saw him back at the court. He now has a big gray shawl covering his missing arm, and he's looking at you and is like, my wayward revolution. So that's where you flitted off to. And he steps out, the door closes, and whatever it is, whatever stopped there, it's just gone, and now it's back to normal. But he's now in between you and the entrance. He's all alone. And he's like, The famous Death's Head. Always lurking in the shadows, doing what's necessary. How does it feel to have the fires of revolution in you? I'm curious.
I feel alive more so than I have in some time.
Well, that's a shame, considering you won't be feeling alive anytime soon. Revolutions are quite a drug, but it's one that has a higher purpose. Not to live within your head, but in the heads of everyone here in Spire.
Revolution is a fire, and it needs fuel to burn. I will spread this, and I will see its flames reach every section of this tower until those who would oppress us are burnt away.
Oh yeah, either of you, Ixel and Jez'zara, can jump in at any time while this is happening. So Urine is kind of like struck by that. Actually, no. Roll. This is gonna be a roll. I don't know if he's just gonna readily agree with you. That sounds like a compel. Yes, it's a compel. You're in low society. He's not low society. I think it's gonna be straight D10. You're not trying to deceive him. You believe in this.
Yeah. That's a 1, because of course it's a 1.
I had a look at your wishes, and one of your wishes from last week is not to be betrayed by the dice.
Yeah, that didn't go so well.
All right, so let's see, which stress is this gonna be? This is I think this is, I'm trying to think. This is gonna be reputation, because you know you do have a reputation. He knows of you, but you were trying to convince him that you're well, not trying to convince him, but you're trying to compel him that you're gonna do revolution right. But you're gonna take a hit in reputation, and that's a 1, so that's critical. Oh, that's a critical failure. So roll me a d6, and we're yeah, and that's gonna be double.
I think that after Elifet had made that speech was when Ixel shows up.
You rolled a 6, didn't you?
I rolled a 6.
Yeah. Oh dear. All right. So, oh my god. I like having this physical book, and makes it.
So I believe it's physically impossible for me to not take fallout from that. As
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even have to roll the d10.
You've become the villain.
So, if the dice have been behaving exactly as they have for this entire run, does that mean they haven't betrayed you? Because
I mean, that's certainly a way.
Unexpected. That's probably not how you meant that, though.
Okay, so what's gonna happen is, well, there's only one severe fallout reputation, and this, I think, it's mostly gonna affect your epilogue. He's not gonna be convinced by this. Well, no. What's gonna happen is he looks like he's convinced with this, and well, what's gonna happen is, I'm gonna try to figure out how to phrase this. He kind of smiles and is like, revolution truly has ensnared you. I see my work has done quite well. And this is in full view of your posse, which they're still gonna follow your lead for now, but this is gonna affect you. You're gonna take the fallout reviled. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna carry this that you're consorting with a. And I think what Urine is gonna keep saying is that the demon of revolution truly has ensnared you. That's good. That's 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 you have made my work.
My friend, my accomplice, my ally among the drow.
Yeah, exactly. And they're gonna spread that, and
That's
you are. I think you're gonna face some repercussions in Perch, in your town, once it's over.
That's I was going to say I strongly I think we're probably, you know, given the time we've got, it's not going to come up, but I very much see Death's Head joining the Crimson Vigil, and yeah, going full on, you know, burn everything down in his future, which would undermine his previous position, certainly.
All right, so I think he says that it's like, well, you as a willing agent would be enticing. In fact, I don't even need to extract whatever's left of revolution from you that much. I can certainly take just a bit.
Do I need to roll anything to be overhearing this conversation?
Ooh, if instead of just jumping in?
I think that reputation stress says you can hear whatever you like.
yeah.
The main is for not for Urine not to notice.
Okay. All right. So if you're trying to keep away, that sounds like a sneak. And you don't have sneak. I don't think you have any domains for this. Maybe occult. He's talking about occulty nonsense. So that's a 2d10.
Okay. So I got a 5.
All right, so 5 is a failure.
Okay.
All
the main reason I wanted to sneak is I wanted to use glamour without Urine noticing.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Urine's not noticing, but something has. He's not an idiot, you know. So describe me. What are you doing? Like, where is Ixel placed?
I think Ixel, like, however, is the least athletic way to get to the perch, because I'm sure there's different ways to get it up to the perch and everything, and whichever would have been the easiest, that's the way she came up. And she's usually always cloaked, and she's not wearing a mask because usually I don't think she wears a mask like when she meets with the others. And after hearing this and realizing like what she heard from Heather or Harriet? Harriet, sorry. I knew it started with an H. Having an idea of what Harriet was like implying. And so she wants to glamour herself to Urine to distract and compel him. Because she's really pissed off that it seems like Urine's gotten a hold of 2 of her friends now.
All right, so roll me another d6. Okay. You're up against, to use mask parlance, you're up against a dangerous foe. You're not gonna roll d3 stress unless
3.
3. All right, cool. So that's to your mind, say, and roll. Oh dear. So what's gonna happen is so you're kind of peering into this warehouse place, and then you hear kind of this. You hear this white fuzz start kind of crawling into your brain, and it's kind of shaking you. It's shaking your concentration. So you're just gonna take the Fallout Shaken, which means you can't roll domains. So it should be fine. You know, I don't think. Yeah, so that just means you can't roll domains for now. So, but this noise is now in you, and you can feel that Urine didn't come alone. He brought with him an entity, that has kind of is putting out this fuzz, this noise, and it's shaking you. But Urine still hasn't noticed you. That's only that's only the partial failure. Jez'zara, when are you coming in?
So just can you just real quick go back over kind of our fictional positioning and sort of what the map looks like here?
Okay, all right. So I'm assuming this is kind of like the training area. On this end are Elifet and his posse doing the rope training. In the middle is Urine, who just stepped off the invisible train, and the train has gone off.
Okay.
And the two of them are having a powwow. And I'm assuming Ixel is here. This is the entrance. That's where Ixel is, and that's where she has this white noise coming in. So you could probably bump into her if you go into the entrance.
Well, I mean, is there a back door or a skylight or something we can come in through? Or
oh yeah, because you live in this is Perch. You know,
yeah.
There must be a way for Elifet to get up to the roof.
Yeah. So I think you know, like a door. I feel like we're gonna come in through a door on an upper story or through the, you know, like I said, like a broken skylight or something like that. And we are in the scaffolding or the whatever, you know, the basically like whatever the upper story of this place is, the walkway, whatever, the balcony or something like that. And so I kind of watch, I am keeping an eye on this and watching what's going on. Or it may even be, you know what, we may even just slipped in. I've got mastery stealth, so if you want to make me roll to get in without anybody noticing, I will. But otherwise, it seems like,
yeah, I think I do want to roll just see how good
sure.
your position is.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, sure. That's cool to see where I'm at.
Yeah. You also get the domain low society because you're in Perch. It's low society. So you with mastery and sneak, you roll four dice.
Oh. Goalie cats. All right. Okay. So I'm going to add this one that I'm rolling is just adding another one to the play field here. Oh, would have been nice to have. And then I'm going to roll these 4. I got 2 9s, so I'm good to go.
Right. Yeah, it's a success. So I think you are not going to be noticed, not even by whatever entity, but you can. But I think just to add to success, I think you will notice that there is kind of this weird white fuzz noise, but it's not shaking you like Ixel has. But you position yourself wherever you want, and you're not going to be noticed until you jump in.
I'm up in the rafters, kind of. I think on the over towards the side where like Death's Head and his proteges are, and his robins, and and like, okay, and this is the point where, and then so I see Ixel come in, and I'm like, she's gonna get herself murdered. So I just yell, demon, your days of fermenting chaos are at an end. Charnel will feast on your bones. And your demon masters will never whisper in your ear again. And Duskgrin kind of like shudders, and I do too. And I throw my head back, and I open my mouth wide, and I'm gonna take a D3 of blood stress here. That is 2 points of blood stress that I take. So here's a mechanical question. I actually have like a plus thing going on with my blood. What does that mean?
That means you got +2 resistance. So that means you actually resist those 2 points of stress. So
Oh, great. Excellent.
yeah,
Excellent.
so you put in that track. That means like hold on. If I put in a track, that means that those 2 X's they don't actually count because you got a +2 resistance.
Fantastic. All right. And what happens is the beak of a crow and its head pokes itself out of my mouth, and then in a like spray of black feathers and blood, it launches itself out of my mouth, and I throw my arms out and vomit a gigantic cloud of crows. And Duskgrin is doing the same thing, and it's forming this squawking, swirling mass of like, like red-eyed, bloody-beaked corvids. And I just like kind of once they're all out of me and swarming around, I just kind of like throw my arms down towards the knoll, and they all like screech in this screeching mass. They just dive towards him. So this was my big advance that I took.
Nice. And Jesus Christ, got a lot of tags. Extreme range, brutal,
So this is a
bloodbound.
flock. Yeah, this is a flock of night black terrors. Extreme range, brutal, and bloodhound. And I assume bloodhound means he can't fucking run away from these things. That they'll track him if he tries to get away. And they count as a D6 weapon.
Nice. And I think the thing with moves like that is like, fucking hell. You don't have to roll. You just triggered it. Roll me a D6 then.
I will do that.
Extreme and brutal. Jesus, Urine's been through a lot.
Man, just a 1. My damage rolls are not. That's okay. Just the edge of the flock has reached him. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the flock is still going to be there, and it says here in the Murder of Crows one, they can be used as distraction. They're still going to be there. Oh my god! But so yeah, the flock just as they reach him, I think what's going to happen is when they start pecking at him, and he just roars and he takes off his shawl, and the stump where his missing arm is now I've got this weird trapezoidal device just jammed into it, and it's pulsating this gray light, and he's like clearly revolution was too good for you all, you and your silly god of carrion. Well, if revolution's not good enough for you, then enjoy the taste of silence, as this white noise wave just starts overcoming, just starts. Hold on, I did that made me like I need a drink a bit. Ugh. Sorry about that. Yeah. So as this noise that Ixel you can hear is just starts growing louder, and Elifet, that noise you can hear like your protege is kind of like start hearing that white keening noise, and that noise it's kind of getting to you. What do you do?
I think I'm going to draw my knife and turn towards I will turn towards Urine, and I will say, "Oh no, I will not be silenced. Everyone will hear the revolution."
Is that what you're gonna do? You're just gonna say,
I am going to start advancing on him with the knife.
All right. I think to get to him in your It's gonna be another roll just to get to him because the noise is getting to you. You're super stressed.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so to get to him, it's gonna have to be resist.
Yep.
You don't have, but you're low society. You're in your hometown. You're in your home turf.
Sure thing. That's 2 dice. That's a 6. So.
Oh yeah, it's a success with a cost. You're take more stress. Well, I think no. I've said it's all gonna be D6, and it's gonna have to be. Hold on, let me look up one quick thing.
Sure thing.
I need to look up because I'm getting I'm confusing what's the rules of Spire with this Spire hack that I'm playtesting.
So I know when you take fallout, you do recover some stress.
Yes, that's what I want to make sure.
Yeah.
So yes, that was exactly what I wanted to make sure. So let me get rid of 7 stress from you first. Yes, I want to make sure that I didn't that was a thing that my friend came up with, but turns out no, that's just from Spire. Yeah, so you get rid of 7 stress. You still have. Actually, no, you only have 1. That's weird. Okay, so you're gonna get to him, but it's gonna be more mind stress. Roll me a D3. I think
D3, sure thing. Oops,
nice.
do you say that one? 1.
1. All right, fab. And might as well roll to see if fallout occurs. Where did I put my dice? Oh, it doesn't matter. Sorry, I just like using physical dice.
Yeah, that's
for
right.
This feels nice. There we go. So yeah, you're gonna get to him, and as the noise is getting to you, Ixel, you're right behind Urin. His gaze is completely upon both Elifet and the crows that Jez'zara has just vomited out there. Jez'zara and her hyena. You can hear the burrowing of silence. That's the name of the demon. In your head, what do you do? What are you doing?
I want to see if I'm able to, because I also have a knife. Stab from behind while casting disharmony.
Ooh, all right.
Which obviously I can't use the occult part, but I can still use deceive.
Yeah. Well, no, you have a cult. You do have a cult.
But I thought because I'm still shaken.
Oh yes, yeah. Why did I forget that? Yeah, yes. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think when you stab him, you're not going to deal damage. You're just going to deal disharmony. That's okay. I think because as part of Elifet's success, his concentration is on Elifet, who is about to bear on him. So yeah, roll me that deceive.
8.
All right, so that is a success. So you immediately inflict stress. They will immediately inflict stress on their nearest ally equal to whatever weapon they're holding.
So the goal is to inflict it on the demon. Since that's their nearest
fab.
ally, because they're connected.
That's fab, I think. Yeah, so
I also tell Elifet, like, snap out of it, you fool.
Yeah, so I think as soon as you stab, like, he just arches. And actually, you know what? Since you've stabbed him, roll me your damage die.
Okay. 3.
Ooh, that's really good. You are halfway. Wait, hold on. Yes, you are halfway there. So yeah, once you stab him, he arches, and his only hand just starts. It almost automatically starts smashing against his demon thing and his demon eidolon, and I think that's enough to like distract him to like. The noise wavers in and out. It's actually quite annoying. You know how it is when music or noise just keeps flitting from, we'll say, earphone to earphone or from ear to ear. It is kind of like that noise. It's not an all-encompassing noise, but it's still quite irritating. But the crows are still kind of around. They're pecking around him. He's quite surrounded. Jez'zara, what are you up to? What do you do?
Gonna roll damage for my crows again.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm saying that the crows are still there. Yeah, they do count as a weapon. I think this time you're gonna have to actively like make them come at him.
Okay. Then I will. I'm just like I think I'm just like up there like hollering at him, kind of flailing my arms about as I direct the crows to to swarm around at him and peck at him. And I'm just like, Charnel will not suffer you to prey upon our people anymore. You have, machinations are one thing, but the boldness of this cannot go unanswered.
Nice.
I will give your bones to my friend to carve her sculptures upon.
Jesus, you're all metal as fuck. Let's see. You don't have fight, but you are still in low society, and I also say religions count, so you still get 2d10.
Cool, I'll take it. That's a 5.
Oh, all right. I think what happens is you're in smashing the eidolon, flitting the noise. It does get to your crows, and it does kind of get to you. So what you're saying, they only hear half of it. The people around them, as silence kind of cuts you off every now and then. Roll me a d6 for mind stress.
That's a 2.
That's a 2. All right. Yeah. So you should still be fine. 3 and roll. Yeah, you're still fine. So yeah, I think the noise kind of cuts you off. So the crows will be there, but they're kind of scattered. In fact, they're almost kind of like they're kind of flitting around to where their Elifet's prodigies are, who are also still kind of like ravaged by the noise, and the noise is getting to you, Jez'zara. So meanwhile, in this miasma of crows and blood and white noise, Elifet, you've reached Urin, who is inexplicably smashing the eidolon that he's grafted into himself. What do you do?
So yeah, my knife's out. I'm going to invoke one of my advances, which is basically I take D3 shadow stress, and it increases by a dice size. So what happens is kind of it. You know how like you have your classic glowing sword that sheds light. This is like pretty much the opposite. Wherever I move it, rather than those like reflections of light, you get little shadows that flitter in the corner of your eyes, like moths darting around as it moves. And as I referenced in the sidebar, I'm afraid I am a cheesy min max, and I do have 3 shadow resistance, which counteracts the shadow damage it can inflict on me. But yeah, and so I'm going to then I'm just going to try and take his head off with the knife. Just going to lunge towards him and see how this goes.
Yeah, you have the domains to get. You have up to 3d10. You have fight and low society. Yeah. Let's hope the dice. Let's hope the dice are good to you. This one roll.
There's an 8 in there, so it's all good. And I'll roll the damage.
Yes.
That's a 5.
All right. Describe to me as you take him down.
Yeah, so I think I surge towards him and I kind of grab him and push him back against like a big granite planter. I'll say, "You will not stop me, counter-revolutionary lapdog," and I will draw the blade across his throat.
Nice. I think you don't even give him the dignity of final words. He tries to say something, but he can't talk, and he just And I think as he dies, the eidolon that he's grafted on, its glow starts to fade, and the noise just starts leeching away. Silence starts to fall. Well, except for your crows. Jez'zara's crows are still there, probably making a bloody noise. Um, as yeah, I think as silence kind of fades back to, and yeah, urine dies. Urine of the golden sands, of the many other epithets we give him. He's dies on his planter, and we get a shot of like Elifet looking over him. You really like with Lady Theron, Ixel? What's up with you?
Sorry, say that
Sorry.
again.
Oh, sorry. I saw you unmute, and I thought you were gonna say something.
Well, I was gonna ask, did it look like Elifet's still under the revolutionary dream, or does he look?
Well, this obsessed fallout, it's hard to get rid of. Like, it's let me read it out for you. Obsessed. Your mind splinters in shards until it is razor sharp and barbed, focused on a single goal. You're now permanently weird, which is in all caps. I don't know why. And yeah, he is focused on that goal until he gets it. I think he still has just that bit of it.
So, I don't think she would realize that this is like that he got affected so deeply. Like it's still like maybe just like the after effects of being under the influence. She still has the bliss. Because she never gave that back. And Harriet never seemed to ask for it back. So she's gonna go up to Elifet and hold on. Let me double check something real quick. Tabs, where are you? I think I can only do that once. Once per situation. Technically this is a new situation, right?
I think it would be cool if it was a new situation.
Okay. What she's gonna do, it's extra, but hey, it's the last session. She wants to glamour Elifet, drink part of the bliss, and then kiss him to have the bliss, to see if that will cure him. Because she doesn't know I don't think she's realized how badly wounded mentally he is.
Okay. I mean, technically the move is just for an NPC, but yeah, last session, fuck it.
Oh yeah, it's
yeah.
an NPC.
No, I'm
fine,
100% down for this. Yeah.
Well, this is happening. Actually, this is happening. I'm gonna say, Jez'zara, you probably noticed one of the kind of the Elifet's proteges are kind of picking themselves up again and kind of watching in awe with all these crows. They did see you. I think they were close enough to you, Jez'zara, that they heard your spiel, and they're kind of like they're looking at you and they're looking at Elifet, and because they just heard all that stuff, and he's reviled now. They're looking at you in awe, Jez'zara. So something to keep in mind. Elifet's followers are just like, shit, this lady just vomited a lot of crows. And so her and her hyena did. That's kind of fucked up, but it's kind of rad. Yeah. So, all right. So this glamour, Elifet, what do you see?
Well, I think the only appropriate thing for me to see is I think from the Ixel, almost her skin almost looks like it's become marble as she kind of takes on the appearance of sort of the statue of our hidden mistress that we have sort of in our cell house as she approaches me.
All right. I think so Ixel, what do you do?
once she realizes that it's taken effect, she just strides up, like literally just strides up to him and is like, "You're gonna snap out of this because you are better than this." And like I said, like downs like half of the bliss and kisses him to force the drink onto him. So obviously she's gonna get a little bit affected, but it's mostly for him.
Yeah, and I think. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think Elifet will accept both the kiss and the drink, and I think maybe he's just going to at that point, because of sort of the stress of the two conflicting things. He's probably just going to kind of pass out on the terrace.
Oh, what a dignified end. Yeah, I think we can
And
just.
then one last thing though,
Yeah.
Ixel then turns to Jez'zara and she's like, men. Like just frustrated. They're so easily wooed.
Yeah, Jez'zara is yeah, she's like she's got her cleaver and she's hacking the gnoll skeleton apart after the crows have picked every last gobbet of flesh off of those bones and then just sort of like exploded and swarmed out, you know. Oh no, it's like I think it's much cooler if they're all just like up in the rafters, just kind of watching us having picked the gnoll's bones clean. Uh, and yeah, and I'm just methodically like chopping its skeleton up.
Ixel, like, she looks a little surprised because I don't think she's probably witnessed too often like the end of a hunt for Jez'zara, but it doesn't disgust her. It's just like, okay, that's just not something I would do, but like you do you, kind of like. So she's
Yeah,
definitely not disgusted by like the sight, but yeah.
yeah, and I mean, and I shouldn't say picked completely clean, but like you know, like I hack a leg off and I toss it to Duskgrin, who kind of kneels down and starts going at it and stuff like this and everything. Um, uh, um, and I pick up his skull and I kind of hold it in my hand for a second, and I look down at it, and then I turn to his proteges and I say, "Here's something for your wall," and I just kind of toss it to them.
Badass. You're all fucking badasses. Yeah, I think we'll close there and we'll just go into epilogues and see.
Is it okay if I just take 1 minute before we do epilogues?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'll take
Yeah.
a quick 1 minute bio break. Then we'll jump into that. I might stretch my legs actually. Just say 1 minute. All right. So, um, whoever wants to start. Actually, I'll just go through my order character keeper. I say whoever wants to start. I'm sorry, but I don't want everyone just tackling over each other. Let's start. Yeah, start from the left to the right then. Elifet, Rue. Let's head. When we last see of you, Inspire.
Yeah, so I think following Ixel's intervention, it has kind of snapped. It has snapped Death's Head out of his obsession a bit, but like I said, I don't think it's going to go away that easily. So I think kind of we see his tactics getting more and more brutal, and he is still kind of doing the vigilante thing. He is still trying to help people, but he's a lot more focused on helping people by taking down their enemies than by intervening to protect them. And I think, as I sort of mentioned earlier, I think we do see him as well starting to consort closer with the Crimson Vigil and the sort of revolutionaries in that church. And yeah, I think possibly our last shot of him, sort of thing, we kind of see the familiar kind of sight of him appearing, sort of like rappelling up to this kind of gargoyle hanging out over a city street, just as we see sort of a building below blossom out into a big explosion of fire.
Oh, that's fab. I was almost afraid you're meeting up with another drow was going to give you a playing card. And it's like, taste for the theatrical. No, I'm not going to do that. Ixel, when was the last see of our idol?
I think after it seems like, I presume, just for the sake of it, like Phyrrus stays missing or stays, like, for the most part, ambiguous of what happened to him, and seeing how Elifet has, despite giving the bliss and everything, doesn't see, like, after a while, seeing that it hasn't changed, even though she still does works for the hidden mistress, just kind of like pours herself into the performances and the stat, and like and doesn't connect with anybody. Like, it's obvious that, like, she becomes kind of like a workaholic of sorts. But like the loss of, like, the one connection she did have from before, and then like this tentative group that we've had, like, falling apart essentially, like, loses her, she just loses herself into her work. And it seems like, it seems like before, when she had, like, varied, like, performances and arts, they would range from, like, inspiring anger or inspiring revolution or inspiring, like, happiness, or, like, as the text says, inspires orgies. They seem to be more like, if it's revolutionary or seems more sadness, like, her tone changes to more of, like, a sadness kinda thing.
That's a jeez, the ministry takes a lot of you. Finally, Jez'zara, our carrion priest. What do we see of you?
I think montage over several weeks of me. So I guess so. Here's a question, which is, when Elifet, did you kind of leave your followers to their own devices, or we presume that you've kind of trained them into a revolutionary cell?
My plan was certainly to train them into a revolutionary cell, but feel free to do with them as you will, because I didn't bring them into my epilogue. So,
Okay, so then I think over the next several weeks, it's Jez'zara, spending a certain amount of time at the, kind of the upper reaches of the spire. Like with this all over, she goes up to the spire, to the top of the spire to do like just to kind of have a walkabout for a little while and just kind of clear her head and stuff like this, and commune with Charnel and stuff like that. She checks up on Chris, make sure she's okay. Has some conversations with Yara, and and I don't think I've seen the others really in this time. And I am with Dustgrin, and we are squatting in an abandoned temple to some other god, because Charon is all about like carrion and using corpses and stuff like that. And so Charon has no temples of its own. Charnel has no temples of his own, but we use the bones of other temples when we want to do anything for Charnel. Dead temples, and specifically it's like dead gods that are no longer worshipped. And I'm sure Spire, being what it is full of that. There were plenty of religions that probably the Elfir just stamped out with extreme prejudice when they first took over and stuff like that. So we were just kind of there in the temple of one of those dead gods, and like one of these little 10-year-old street urchins that like runs messages back and forth between, you pay him a copper, and he'll run a message to a different part of the spire. Comes running up, and he like knows where to find us. He kind of crawls through the little, where the beams are crossed over, kind of crawls in and finds us, and he's holding something in his hand, and I walk up to him, and it is a cleanly cut 6-inch long piece of red binding rope with a couple of blood stains on it. And that's the next hunt that the ministry has given me.
Nice. Yeah. Some Spire churns on forever on. So that's Spire, a disease of language. Thanks very much to my frankly far too good and far too wonderful players. I'll say that right here on broadcast, because they deserve to be shout out to the moon. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Thanks so much. Thanks for anyone watching. Again, check out Spire if you're interested. Check out there. Check out the Gauntlet. It's all there. Everyone's shouted out all down there. I'm gonna stop the broadcast now, so I'm gonna say goodbye to YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube.